Michael, we got Day of the Dev partners have been revealed. Let's get into it. This is from actually us. We got a press release late last night, and we're going to discover who's actually showing up here. Day of the Devs. We'll be talking about that in the near future as well, so stay tuned for that. As they have a list of exciting developers for the Game Awards Edition Showcase Dream, which includes legendaries like the Annapurna, with the upcoming Wheel World game. If you haven't taken a look at that one's cool. Andrea Love and the Woolly Games, Celine and the Silly Stars, Dogubomb and Raw Fury, which is great. Raw Fury has their Nights in Tight Spaces coming up. That game looks pretty wild. So a couple other ones as well. Ice Drop Games and Dreknik and Friends, Electric Saint, Fabrez, Funny, Fintan, Softworks, Heart Machine, and the Arc Games. Dude, there's a bunch of people here that I don't even recognize. So we'll get into this in a quick sec here. But we get into Redemption Road, Tinybuild, and their upcoming game Sand. If you haven't seen that one, that recently just had a demo run Steam Fest. And dude, it hit pretty hard. A lot of people are pretty excited about that one. So I'm curious to see more on that one. Riff Raff Games and more. This year's showcase will include 19 incredible indie titles and release date announcements, title reveals, and even more surprises from the developers themselves with 7 world premieres. Additionally, there'll be music from Ivy Road and Annapurna's Wonder Stop, composed by C418, will be featured throughout the showcase. Day of the Devs, the Game Award Edition, will be presented online via live stream on Wednesday, December 11th at 9 a.m. PT to kick off things before the Game Awards on December 12th. So again, we'll be there. We'll be there checking that out. We'll have a lot to say prior to it, coming into it. So make sure you stick tuned to that. Michael, is anything here catches your eye? Again, indie devs, I find they're always on the rise, and there's always something cool that's going to catch your eye.
Yeah, I think for me, the ones that catch my eye are the ones I don't know about, right? Like, I want to hear some of these games where it's like, okay, I haven't really heard of what you're going to do here. What do you got in store for me? That's always, I think, my favorite part about those indie games is you have those big ones, right? Like Annapurna, like you mentioned. No, that one's probably going to be good for Wheel World, but it's like, give me these ones I haven't heard of. Show me something crazy, because there's always going to be, I feel like every year I get some kind of indie game that sneaks up, captures my attention for at least 10, 15 hours. That's the other nice thing. Not every indie game has this massive game, Drew, where we have to sink 40 to 50 hours in it. It's like, hey, play for 5 hours, play for 10 hours, maybe 15. That's what I'm looking for. So yeah, it's one of those where I can't really give you a name, because I bet you it's going to be something where I'm like, I don't even know who this is. Couldn't even tell you, but that's what I'll always look forward to, because I'm guaranteeing early 2025, before that February chaos, there's going to be an indie game that sucks me in for January.
No, absolutely, right? I like the world premieres too, right? I want to see that big surprises out of the smaller developers. What do you have to showcase that's going to really knock our socks off, that goes outside the box, right? Yeah. You talk about AAA development, you get into a more of a traditional, hey, this game we're going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on. It needs to hit. So you're going to get Spider-Man 3 eventually, right? And you're going to know that's going to go well. Wolverine is another example that we know Insomniac is working on, right? So then Indiana Jones here, just coming up in the next little bit, not that far away actually, but that needs to hit as well. But these are games we already know and expect. So when you get into some of these other little surprises, right, I'm very excited to see what we can get into. Real World looks really cool. Nights in Tight Spaces, I think, is a very unique look at another game that kind of caught my eye. And it's always the ones that have the visually stunning, impressive look and style to them, that the art direction really is where it hooks me first. And then let's see what the gameplay turns out to be, and can that pull that off. So Sand is another one too. Back in the day, I used to play Last Oasis. I don't know if have you heard of that game at all?
It sounds familiar. I think it's ringing a very deep bell in the memory there.
Okay, so our friends over there at Donkey Crew made this game called Last Oasis, and you would build these walkers that would go through this desert area. So you go out, you gather resources, right? One of those resource management games that I adore. So, and then on top of that, you build these massive little creatures that are they call walkers. Sand has that feel. So Tinybuild coming up, like a Tinybuild is one of the studios that I keep my eye on a lot, so I really like what they produce and publish. So Sand, I think, is something I need to keep my eye on. Even Scott says, hey, this is out right now. It's like, I know it's out on a demo, but I can't get to it because we were working on so many other things right internally here. So I just kind of had to bypass it, but I watched from the outside. Man, looks cool. But yeah, a lot for Day of the Devs coming up, so make sure you stay tuned.